Hi book friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Jen, and in this video I want to talk to you about all of the series that I am in the middle of. I'm a fantasy reader. It's really hard to find a fantasy book that is not in a series. And while I don't think that I have that many series on my list, compared to other people that I have seen on Booktube, it is a lot for me. And so I really want to get this list shrunk big time in the second half of 2025. So let's talk about two series that I am rereading. That is Harry Potter. I've reread the first two books. This is not my first reread. I think this is like my fourth reread. And I'd like to finish that up by the end of 2025. The other one is a first reread for me, and that is the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. This is a trilogy. There is also a fourth book that contains stories from the Scythe universe. I have not read that one. So after my reread of Scythe, I do want to read Gleanings to finish out the series. I do think there's also a prequel that is coming out. So I have reread Scythe. I do need to reread the second two. Now let's talk about series that I'm caught up on. So I'm not finished with the series because the next books that I need to read have not been released yet. Some of these series are books that are set in the same universe, so they're not direct sequels. B.K. Borison is writing 4 rom-coms that are each based on a popular 90s rom-com movie. The first one was First Time Caller. I loved it. It's probably my favorite rom-com of all time. So that is on the list. There are 3 more coming out in the future. The next is the Powerless series. I thought I was caught up. Then she announced that there's another novella that's coming out. And I have a feeling that in the future, she is going to write more novels in this series, or at least in this universe. Percy Jackson. Rick Riordan is still pumping out Percy Jackson books, and I'm still buying them and reading them and eating them up. So whenever the next one comes out, I will be sure to snag that and read it. The books in the Empyrean series, so Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, waiting on the announcement for book 4. Love that series. I have recently been listening to it on audio, where before I only read it with my eyeballs. So now I'm listening to it with my earballs, and the dramatized version is absolute gold. The Thursday Murder Club, there are currently 4 books out. I love them. They are cozy little mystery books. There will be a show releasing on Netflix, and I think the 5th book comes out in September. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst is getting a sequel, I think this month. I think in July. And that is The Enchanted Greenhouse. The Spell Shop is one of my favorite cozy fantasies, and it's a gorgeous book, and The Enchanted Greenhouse is just as beautiful. And I know that I'm going to love it just as much. Mate, which is the sequel to Ali Hazelwood's Bride, that comes out in October. And Brimstone, which is the sequel to Quicksilver, and that comes out in November. And now on to series that I have to continue. The books are already there waiting for me to read them, and I just have to pick them up. I don't know what the name of the series is, but the first one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. And then there is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf, and The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. Loved the first one. Love Kimberly Lemming's writing. If you need just something that is fun and quick to read, I highly recommend reading her books. I need to read Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, but it's the first book in the second duology. I know, that's kind of confusing. And the second book in the second duology comes out soon, so I really need to keep up with that. Loved the books in this series so far. Have heard really good things about the ones that I haven't read. Hopefully I will continue this series in July. Rebecca Thorne is a cozy fantasy author, and she has a series called Tomes and Tea. There's 4 books in the series. I think 3 of them are out so far. I've only read 2, so I do need to catch up. This is a sapphic fantasy romance. Throw in some magical creatures in a bookshop, and it's everything that I love in a book. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is a cozy sci-fi book, and when I picked this up, I thought it was just one book. I thought it was a standalone, and after I read it, I absolutely loved it. It could stop after book 1, but I loved the characters so much that I want to continue on, and I think there are 5 books complete in the series. And they're not super short. They're not really long either, but they're not super short. I hope to get at least 1 more of those read in 2025. I read Phantasma. I need to finish out the series and read Enchantra. I don't know if there's more books that are coming after that, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun read. I can't wait to pick up Enchantra. The Wayward Children series, I'm not sure what book I'm on, and I'm not even sure how many books are in the series. 10, 11, 12. I think I'm on like 7. These are really short books. I can read these in one sitting. And this is basically just about a school for children who don't fit in here in our reality, and they have found doorways into other realities. Some of the books follow the children on their journeys through these different doorways, and some of the books follow their journey as they have come back to Earth and how they're adapting. Last year, I read Icebreaker, loved it way more than I thought that I was going to read it, and then they got pulled off of KU. They're back on. The series is back on KU, so I want to pick up Wildfire as soon as possible and then move on to Daydream. This one's going to take me a while, but I do want to read my way through Brandon Sanderson and all of his books, specifically The Cosmere. I have read 2 of the Stormlight Archive books. I've read 2 of his standalones. I will read all of Brandon Sanderson in my lifetime. Belladonna series. I am currently reading, I only have the dust jacket for it, Foxglove, which is the second book in the trilogy. Love this series so much. Red Rising. I read Red Rising, loved it. I read Golden Sun, and I don't think that I was in the right headspace to read Golden Sun, to pay attention to it, to really grasp it, because I didn't enjoy it. It took me a long time to read. But then I keep hearing people say that they like it better than Red Rising and that the series is so amazing. So I think I just need to revisit the series at a later date. I don't know when that's going to be, but I want to give it its due diligence. I want to be able to put all of my effort into reading it. So I'm not sure when I'll get to that one, but I do want to eventually read the whole series. One of my favorite romance books that I've read this year is Dungeons and Drama. And there's a second book in the series. It's not really a sequel. It's by the same author. It has to do with Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't believe it follows any of the characters from the first one. And it's called Dating and Dragons. I actually like the summary on the back of Dating and Dragons better than I liked the one on Dungeons and Dragons. And I loved Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm expecting to like Dating and Dragons. I think I said those names wrong, but whatever. I think I'm ready. I think I will like this book better than the first one. And last but not least is the Royal Heirs Academy. And now that I'm looking at this one should have gone down in the list of books in series that are not completed yet, because I did just finish the Royal Heirs Academy, and it's a new release for 2025. The second book has not released yet. I liked it. It wasn't mind-blowing. It was a cute little read. I'm excited to see what happens to these characters moving on. Royal drama is always fun to read about, so I'm excited to continue this series. So that's all of the ones that I'm reading. I hope to bust through a good portion of these in the second half of 2025. I will probably, more than likely, start even more series in the second half of 2025. If you have any series that you recommend to me, if you have read or are reading any of these series, I'd love to talk to you about it in the comments. As always, I appreciate your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. And until next time, happy reading.